Hello. All right, what's going on? And yep, and yep. All right, cool. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sharing the video. My name is Will Johnson. UnitedAmericaFirst.com is the website. I want to thank you for all of your support and being here. Looking forward to what I have to share with you. You know, I don't know if anyone else has yet to say this, but I'm still saying it, that when you run for political office, I think it should be a requirement that you take a constitutional test and that you know what the Constitution says before you become a member of Congress. And it's not necessarily saying that you have to pass the test, or maybe you do have to pass the test. You decide. But either way, I think when they finish taking the test and you see they're scored, and it should be publicized for the entire world. And if they get a flat F on it, they get it completely wrong, it should be publicized for everyone to see it. So when people know that, so when they come out and they do stuff on these news network or these talk shows, and they're trying to say something based on the Constitution, everyone can refer back to their test scores when it comes to the Constitution. And there's a lot of that's happening right now. I don't know if anyone's ever called for that, but that is something that should be put in place. Maybe at one point someone did. I've never heard anyone else suggest that, but I can't be the only person to ever think of that. So do me a favor. You're tuning in. I got some stuff to share with you. Hit the share button on this video. Hit the share button. Please do not be afraid to hit the share button. If they got you afraid of hitting the share button, they have you afraid of doing everything. So just imagine, I'm out here doing my part. I come on here, do my part. I share information. You know the left don't like it. I get trolls every single night. Every single night. It's like these trolls keep growing. It's like whack-a-mole with these trolls. And some of them even send me death threats. They hate everything about me. They hate what I'm talking about. They hate what I say. They hate to see a free black man with dreadlocks talking about support for America. They hate to see it. And you know what? I meant to get it out. I meant to have it set up. You know what? Let me see if I can get this right now. Because I know there's a Project Veritas video. And there's a Project Veritas video that was just released not too long ago. And it's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, North Carolina. And there's some black people there running for political office. And they're literally saying that you should join the Republican Party, talking to black people, saying that you should join the Republican Party so that you can go in there and disrupt everything. They're even saying that you should take drug money for your campaign if you have to, just to win and to disrupt. And they say you need to act like a Republican. I mean, they have no. And you know what? This is a leaked audio, and I'm kind of glad the audio leaked. But the problem that I have with it is that some people will look at that and they'll be like, oh, that could be Will Johnson. And I have to tell you, when I first started doing the videos, there was this one particular guy in California. He says he's a conservative. He's never had a conversation with me. And he was going around telling people, saying, you can't trust Will Johnson. He's a mole. He's coming in to try to trick everybody. And not a single time have I ever told anyone since I've been doing videos to vote for the Democrat ticket. I even started up a website, Vote Them Out. I have a red hat. I don't know if y'all can see this. It's right there. It's sitting on my shelf back there. It's a red hat that says Vote Them Out. and it's signed with President Trump. President Trump actually signed that hat, vote them out. He didn't have to sign it. I wouldn't, you know what? And it's just so interesting that these people will do anything. And you know what? I've been suspected. And see, when people join the Republican Party and then they run and then they come to find out they're rhinos, you know, that's what it is. They were Democrats implanted into the Republican. And it's not just black people, it's white people doing it too. Look at Dan Crenshaw. Look at Liz Cheney. Look at Mitt Romney. I mean, seriously, look at them. I mean, and they're not even black. But this particular woman got caught on audio saying that's what we need to do. And it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic, meaning that they're telling people to run as a Republican, to infiltrate the Republican Party and try to win so you can disrupt, because they have no, what's the word? No, it's like on the tip of my tongue. There's no strength in their party. They have no good feelings about what they're doing, right? They know that they cannot win. There's no quality in what they're trying to do. So they're trying to find out whatever way they can, if they can disrupt any kind of way that they can, because that is the motto of the Democrat Party. All right. So I'll try to have that video next time. And some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. But anyways, let's get on with this. You have AOC. Now, I'm pretty sure many of y'all have already seen this, and I can't imagine that you had. But AOC, she's on here, and she's saying that the Supreme Court has overreached their authority. They literally went along with the U.S. Constitution, and she's literally saying that they overreached their authority. When the overreach came in 1973, when they put Roe into the Supreme Court, when the Democrats found out that they can go around Congress, not have Congress debate on it or anything, they figured they can go around Congress and put these laws on the book to get the country to follow along with it. The Supreme Court is not there to make up laws. They're not. And that's exactly what the Democrats have been doing. They've been going around. Well, that has come to a screeching halt, and now they're upset about it. Listen to what AOC says. For those of you who hadn't seen this is going to be pretty interesting.
The Supreme Court has engaged in the overreaching of its authority in denying the human and civil rights of any pregnant person or person.
You hear this? She's talking about pregnant person. Only women can get pregnant. There's no your feelings or anything. Nothing. None of your feelings can change that. Only women can get pregnant. But she literally uses the phrase pregnant person as if males can get pregnant. And that's the reason why she did that. But y'all heard in the beginning, right? This is a really short clip. The overreach.
The Supreme Court has engaged in the overreaching of its authority in denying the human and civil rights of any pregnant person or person that could become pregnant in the United States of America. They have engaged in overreach, and it is the responsibility of the president and Congress to put the Supreme Court in check because they have delegitimized themselves.
They have delegitimized themselves. Y'all hear this? Again, that's why I was saying in the beginning that there should be a constitutional test for any of these politicians. And you know what? They should be forced to take it. If they run for re-election, they should have to take the test again to see if they got any better at it, to see if they actually know the Constitution. And both scores should be posted for the entire world to see. Does this make sense? Is that not a good idea? Think about it. Think about it. How grand would that be? And their scores should be publicized. And there's no cheating. There should be no cheating on it. Right? Make it multiple choice. And don't have to be a really long test. Make it, 20 questions and be through with it. But she literally says that they need to be they done an overreach in their authority. And they have been legitimized. Delegitimized. Seriously. This is tyrants. This is how tyranny begins in a nation. And they're wanting to do away with the Supreme Court now altogether. They're wanting to do away with it. They want to say the Supreme Court is null and void, none and void. Like you can't, they don't even matter any longer because they're not getting what they want. Any other time, they love the Supreme Court, especially when it was under Obama, when Obama did same-sex marriage. And this is part of the reason why they're upset too, because same-sex marriage is not in the Constitution. It's not there. So it should go back to the states as well. It should, just like contraception. I mean, seriously, it should go back to the states. There's no need for it to be a federal law. But you know, they do this for everything. They wanted to do it for the elections as well. They wanted to federalize elections. Think about it. Everything. They want to take it from the states and they want to federalize it. Then they want to be able to control it at the federal level. Brings me to my main point of tonight's topic. And on Fascist Book, I purposely didn't put the title in there because Fascist Book, you know how they do. They're literally calling for mass murder in red states. They're literally calling for it. They're saying that you should be able to set up these, and I'm going to call them internment camps. Set up internment camps, allow women to go there and just murder the children. Everyone, a revolving door. Just have thousands of women line up outside and just one at a time, bringing them in, or even 5 at a time, bringing them in and having them go out. You know, apparently abortion does major damage to women as well. And I've actually opened up the phone lines and I've actually had women call me and they told me that they made that decision years ago and they have repented of it. But they said it ruined them. They said it tore them up ever since. And, you know, they never talk about that issue. But listen to what AOC literally calling for mass murder in red states.
I'll start with the babiest of the baby steps. Open abortion clinics on federal lands in red states right now.
Open up murder clinics on federal lands in red states right now.
Open abortion clinics on federal lands in red states right now.
So what happens when they don't get what they want? And they're all cheering for this. They're literally cheering for this demonic stuff. They're literally cheering for it. But you know what? AOC is not the only one calling for mass murder in red states or just mass murder on federal land. She's not the only one calling for it. You even have Elizabeth Warren calling for it. She's doing the same thing. Listen to Elizabeth Warren.
I also think at this moment, the federal government needs to be exploring what they can do to make federal lands available to help ensure access to abortion.
Y'all hear this? These people are disgusting to no end. They're repulsive. The idea that federal land should be used for mass murder is repulsive. I mean, now again, the Supreme Court ruled that it should go back to the states. And they're saying that the federal government should come in and just create these murder camps, regardless of what the state does. If the state says, you know what, nope, we're not going to murder babies any longer, that they're saying that the federal government should be able to come into the states and just set up murder camps. Well, at that point, it's against state law. It's against state law. And the U.S. Constitution, based on the U.S. Constitution, and that's the very reason why the Supreme Court did what they did, because it went back to the states for the states to decide, not the federal government. If there's an overreach, it's the federal government doing an overreach. And that's the makings of a tyrant government, a tyrannical government. We're seeing it. That's it. Firsthand. You and I are the generation that's seeing this happen, that's seeing it take place. And again, I'm sitting there talking about it. And we're talking about life. Wow. And it's not even about a woman's choice, because what is a woman's choice? Right? What is the choice? There's only two choices. There's only two. One is life and the other is death. There's only two choices. So when you hear these politicians and you hear people on the left saying, well, it's a woman's choice. It's a woman's choice. And I never hear them say this on the mainstream media anywhere. Well, what are those choices? No one's ever asked that question. Maybe they have, and I just missed it. But when I look on the Communist News Network or MSDNC or even Fox News, I don't ever hear them saying, well, can you tell us what those choices are? What is the choice? And if you say, well, there's pro-life and there's a pro-abortion. Well, what is the definition of abortion? To abort the child. And when you abort the child, what does that mean? The death of the child. And of course, they always bring in the same talking points, well, incest and rape. But you know what? It's such a small number. Can we say no to the rest? These people are just straight up evil. This is the day and time we live in. This is the date, the age we're living in. It's straight up demonic stuff happening. And again, for me, the way I see all of this is just because we're living in the last days. You cannot, there's no other way to explain it. We're living in the last days. So listen to Nancy Pelosi. She was asked about all of the domestic terrorist violence that's happening towards pro-life clinics. Pro-life clinics, right? All of a sudden, there's an uptick in violence against pro-life clinics. And of course, the mainstream media, they don't say anything. All these people are working together. They all have the same demonic spirit. The same demonic spirit that's have infected all of them, and they refuse to see how demonic they are. They believe that they are doing the right thing. Why? Because they've been turned over. They've been turned over to a reprobate mind. God has sent them a great delusion to believe a man can be a woman even. Listen to Nancy Pelosi here. Listen what she says. And again, I'm going to ask everyone that's listening right now, what are the two choices? There's only two choices.
Saying anything, and they're saying that your rhetoric is contributing to these attacks on these crisis.
Well, let me just say this. A woman has a right to choose, to live up to her responsibility. It's up to her doctor, her family, her husband, her significant other, and her God. This talk of politicizing all of this, I think, is something uniquely American and not right. Other countries,
listen, now she's going to go to the other countries the same way the energy secretary went into the other countries. Like, well, Europe has high gas prices and all these other countries have high gas prices. Then, America can have high gas prices too. We don't, you know what? It's not what's happening in the other countries. We need to take care of America first. But she's trying to justify the killing here in America because other nations are doing it. And some of these nations like Great Britain, they won't allow you to have abortion after 24 weeks. So there are some restrictions there.
Ireland, Italy, Mexico have had initiatives to expand a woman's right to choose. Very Catholic countries. I'm a very Catholic person, and I believe in every woman's right to make her own decisions. Any other questions on another subject?
So again, I asked the question, what are those choices? Every woman should be able to make a choice, right? But what are those choices? And now they're upset because in some states it's going to be considered murder. I mean, it is. I mean, that's exactly what it is, though. Regardless on how Will Johnson feels about it or anybody else feel about it, it is considered murder. It should be, right? It should be, because you're taking a life. It's a heartbeat. And the whole point, I'm like really disgusted about it all of it. And I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about it. And the only reason why I'm still talking about it is because they're going to increase with their violence. They've been out there protesting every single day in D.C. since Friday, out there every day protesting as if they're going to get the Supreme Court justices to flip it back, to go back to the unconstitutional ruling from 1973. It should have never happened in the first place. But now they're acting like they're all fearful because Justice Clarence Thomas You know, he mentioned about contraceptive, and he mentioned sodomy, marriage. And then, of course, the left, they run up there and they say that, well, you know what? If you're going to do it to that, that means that black man cannot marry a white woman, or a white woman can't marry a black man, or a white man can't marry a black woman or Asian woman, or what have you, whatever. Someone that's other than white, you won't be able to marry them. That's what they're saying. And the problem with that is that you could talk about man, it's a man and a woman, regardless of their nationality. If you get a man on one side of the planet and he travels halfway across the planet, and you have a woman on the other side of the planet and she travels halfway across the planet, and they meet somewhere close to the middle. They hook up, they fall in love, they do, they have children, regardless of where they come from on the planet. If it's a real man with a real woman, that's how that happens. But they want to put in this fear factor, trying to say, oh my goodness, you won't be able to love who you want to love. Like a man loving a woman is a problem. And at any rate, it was the Democrats that didn't want a white man to marry a black man, a black woman, a black man, listen to that, a white man marrying a black woman, or vice versa. It was the Democrats that wanted to push against that. And of course, you had some rhinos in the past. Yeah, I call them rhinos. But listen to this. I want you to listen to this, because this is how demonic demons react to stuff that they don't like. Other than, you know, just going really buck wild when they're trying to be civil about it. Listen to this.
How you doing?
I'm a black gay woman and I have a daughter, so I'm not doing so well right now.
A black gay woman and I have a daughter, and I'm not doing so well right now. Well, why not? Why not? You're in America. She's an actress. She's probably filthy rich. She's sitting on the talk show. What's the problem? She has a lot of privileges. I'm telling you right now, regardless of her complexion, she has a lot of privileges. What is it she doesn't have? Nothing's going to be taken away from her. See, this is how they put out this whole narrative that, oh my goodness, this is happening to us. Like her being black and gay at the same time, which you can't, there's no such thing as a gay person. There's people living the lifestyle. 100%, because if that was the case, you would be able to find it in the DNA. There would be some kind of string to say, yep, this is a person living a sodomy lifestyle. But there isn't one. The majority of the nation don't want sodomy. I mean, they really don't. Majority of the nation don't want to murder babies. They really don't. They keep putting this information out there trying to convince everybody that the most of the country wants abortion. Well, if that's the case, then why are they having such a hard time with it going back to the states? Because if you go back to the states, then guess what? Since the majority of the nation wants it, they'll vote it in their states. But they know that's not true. Even in California, I forget what bill it was in California before they went to the federal level with it. In California, they put it on the ballot about same-sex marriage before they went to the federal level. And guess what California did? California said, no, we don't want it. They said no to same-sex marriage overwhelmingly. And what happened in California, they found this federal liberal communist judge that literally came out and said the people don't know what they want. So that judge reversed it and said, yes, same-sex marriage is available. It passes. So they can care less what the people voted in California, and the people in California did nothing about it. They just, oh, okay, well, you know what? The judge overturned our votes. So they wanted to prevent it. They went to the Supreme Court. They bypassed Congress and went directly to the Supreme Court and got the Supreme Court to do it. And then they made it a federal with Chrissy Blessford, right? Especially Kavanaugh, which that came out to be a total lie. Where's she at now? Where's she at now? Seriously, was a total lie. Brett Kavanaugh never even assaulted that woman. Never even assaulted her. It came out to be a total lie. But they're still running with the lie like you know what? Like it's truth. Knowing good and well it's not. Okay, so during the hearings, they said that it was settled law. That was true. That's 100% true. When they were asking, what did they think about Roe versus Wade, they answered the question truthfully. They said it was settled law. At the time, when they're doing that hearing, guess what? It was settled law. It was the law of the land. They were doing it. They were pushing it. It was what it was. But now they went back and said, well, let's look at it. Is it constitutional? And they ruled and said it's not constitutional. So they did not lie. They did not lie. They just said it was settled law. At the time it was. But then they looked at it again and said it's not constitutional. And see, that's what they don't like. Okay, so if New York and California are paying for everything and they're talking about they should have the decisions because they have the majority of the people in the nation, more people live in California and in New York, then why do you care about what the little states do? Why do you care about what the states in the middle do? Why do you care what the red states do? Continue to live in California. Continue to live there and butcher children as much as you want to. If people are gonna go there and choose to butcher them, and it's happening in the states, in the state that you're in, what can we do about it? The people have voted. The people say, okay, yeah, we want to murder babies here. Based on the Constitution, you can do that. I may disagree with it, but you can do that. But see, they want to force their way of life. They want to force their demonic way of thinking onto the rest of the nation. And it's been like that, but now they can't do it any longer and they feel like they're losing control.
Right, but if we fit in the bill, you know, and like California, if it were a country, it'd be what, like the fifth largest, fourth, fifth largest economy. So if I'm fitting the bill, know your position. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like, look, if I say, hey, let's go out to dinner, you don't get to pick the restaurant. Just shut up and eat.
Or you can say, I'm not going with you. Or you can say, I'm not going with you. You know, it's just these people think that they know what's best for all of us. And again, if they care, I mean, why not just stay in California then? Why not just stay in New York? Why not just stay in these states, Illinois? Why not just stay in these states that's giving you what you want? The problem is they want to force the entire nation to go down a demonic path that they're on. Think about it. Think about it. What else could it be? I mean, they're upset with Texas. They're upset with Arkansas. They're upset with these states that had these trigger laws. They're upset with them because I'm like, oh my goodness, they're gonna stop us from murdering these babies, and it's big money. It's big money for the Planned Parenthood cartel. It's big money for them, and they don't want that money to go away. In other news, you had Joe Biden was at the G7, and Biden has yet to say anything about the people that died in the tractor trailer, the 18-wheeler. Nothing. He's yet to say anything about it. Don't you know President Trump? I truly believe not only would President Trump would have addressed the issue, but it would have never. I would say it wouldn't have happened like this under President Trump. Did it happen? Yeah, of course it did, because they kept trying to smuggle people. But President Trump pretty much locked it down. But in this case, you have Joe Brandon not even answering the questions, don't even want to take any questions about it. He doesn't even want to say, you know what? It's a tragedy. He can't even say that, because this is the party of death. The Biden administration is the most anti-God administration known to the United States of America in the history of the country. The most anti-American. So listen, he had the opportunity to say something and he says nothing.
Thank you guys. Thank you. My guys, let's go right around. Thank you. Right here. Right around. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, guys. Let's go. Turn around, guys. Let's go.
He just does a blank stare. He just does a blank stare, like, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to act like I didn't even hear it, nothing. And then they have of course, they have the staff workers to push everyone out the door. Don't ask any questions. This is despicable. And this is on the world scene. And he can't even say anything that's happening in his own country. And he's supposed to be representing us. Well, I mean, maybe you, but not me. I mean, I'm just saying, he's supposed to be representing the United States of America. But what is he doing? What is he doing? This is a total disgrace. It's extremely sad. It's extremely sad to see it take place. Here's another one. Here's another one where he's talking, and this is when he's asking the question, and instead of him even knowing what he's talking about, he has another cue card. He's reading from his cue card. I mean, just blatantly reading from his cue card. I don't ever recall President Trump reading from a cue card about a topic that he should be on top of. Never happened. Did he have teleprompter in some of the speeches? Of course. But he never had a cue card. And I'm willing to bet on that cue card, it told him when to stop talking, when to go use the restroom, and change his diaper. I'm telling you, never before. This is pathetic.
Earlier this year, we surged 20,000 additional U.S. forces to Europe to bolster our alliance in response to Russia's aggressive move, bringing our force total in Europe to 100,000. We're going to continue to adjust our posture based on the threat in close consultation with our allies. Here in Spain, we're going to work with our ally to increase U.S. Navy destroyers stationed in Spain's Rota naval base from 3 to from 4.
I mean, come on. This is like embarrassing, right? I don't have any cue cards here. I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but dadgummit. This is beyond crazy. And he's just doing it like, okay, I'm just gonna read the cue card here, like, you know, and the other guy's just sitting there. He doesn't have his cue card. I mean, like, this is like really embarrassing. I mean, it's truly embarrassing. I mean, seriously, I don't know about y'all, but I see this as something truly embarrassing. It's so bad that Kamala Harris is basically saying that she's going to be his ticket mate. Y'all don't believe me? Kamala Harris said about Joe Biden running in 2024, and I don't even think he can make it, you know, past 2022, to be honest with you. I'm just saying. I'm not wishing ill on anybody, but dude is declining dramatically every single day. It's like just another, like, I think he's barely hanging on to the brain cells that he have left, and there's probably just half a brain cell. But listen to, she was asked about running with Biden, but she says that she's gonna be his ticket mate. What does that mean? Could someone send me a text message, email, messenger, whatever? Describe it to me what the ticket mate is. I mean, apparently I don't know. This is the first time that I've heard this. I'm just really, maybe it's Will Johnson.
Joe Biden is running for re-election, and I will be his ticket mate.
What does that mean?
Full stop. Full stop. That's it.
I'm going to be his ticket mate. Is it not running mate? I mean, what is a ticket mate? Someone please explain it to me. I really want to know. Ticket mate. Ticket mate. Ticket mate. How come she just can't say running mate? Right? How come she just can't say running mate? You have the DNC, the head of the DNC won't even endorse Joe Brandon, saying that Joe Brandon kind of need to go away because he's declining. You have AOC won't even endorse him, but she's his ticket mate, not running mate, but ticket mate. And I understand what she's trying to say. I understand what she's saying. They're going to be on the same ticket. But what you mean, really? Really? The ticket mate. Not running mate, but ticket mate. Like that's going to make it different. Now, me personally, I never heard someone go and say I'm gonna be on the same ticket mate. The ticket mate. Well, I've heard them say they're gonna be on the same ticket, but now I never heard them refer to the ticket mate, which is kind of odd to me. I'm just saying. So let me go to something else here, because we talked about the war in Ukraine. We talked about that multiple times, right? Well, there's a video that was, I guess it was recently released. I'm not even sure when it was released, but it was some time back actually. And this was with Julian Assange, where he was talking about the war in Afghanistan being an ongoing war, just ongoing, on and on and on. And Afghanistan right now is still in very bad shape because of what the Biden administration has done. Been in very bad shape. They're in very bad shape right now. But listen to what Julian Assange said a while back about, because he's a lot younger here. Listen to what he said about the Afghanistan war. And I want y'all to keep in mind about Ukraine. Keep in mind, and just imagine that he's talking about Ukraine in the same stance.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war, endless war. I know there's a lot of background noise, and I apologize for those of you that had a hard time listening to it. But he's basically saying that taxpayer dollars, U.S. taxpayer dollars, continuously being flooded into Afghanistan for an ongoing war. And that's what was happening. That's what was happening. It was an ongoing war that was just kept getting flooded, right, with American dollars, and they wanted to keep it going. Same thing with Ukraine. And even in Parliament here, they're even talking about it. Now listen to this, because she bring up Julian Assange as well, and she's talking about they're doing the exact same thing with Ukraine, and they're even admitting that because of their funding the war, they're admitting that they're at war with Russia, just like the United States of America. You can't make this stuff up. Listen.
Thanks, President. The goal is an endless war, not a successful war. Those were the words of Julian Assange in 2011 in relation to the war in Afghanistan, words which could now equally apply about Ukraine. Ukraine should absolutely be able to join the EU, but on terms that don't bankrupt its people and when it's ready and when a majority of its people choose. But that certainly will not be happening while the country is an active war zone, and everybody knows it. So instead, we're artificially prolonging this war with a steady flow of heavy weapons, attacking peace efforts as appeasement. The EU is guaranteeing a stalemate and ensuring that Ukraine will never be able to choose its own path. President von der Leyen gave the game away last Friday when she said Ukrainians are ready to die for the European perspective. My God, what a deluded narcissist. The real plan here, we know candidate status is bait and a trap. The real plan is to transform Ukraine into a meat grinder, use its people as cannon fodder in an endless proxy war against Russia, with the European taxpayer footing one bill after another for the arms industry. There's nothing to celebrate in that.
Nothing to celebrate in that. 100%. There's nothing to celebrate. And she, right there, it's a proxy war. It's a proxy war, and they're going to continue to go on and on and on as long as they can. It's going to never be ending. It's because it's all part of this whole great reset. It's all about taking the country down. It's about taking the nations down of the world. It's all about that. 100%. And you know what? And I before anybody else was saying it was a proxy war, United States of America at war with Russia with a proxy war, I'm going to go ahead and claim it that I was the first one to call it out, because that's exactly what it was. I'm claiming it right now because I didn't hear anybody else say it. Then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of other people start popping up. I'm not saying I'm the first one to think about it, but I didn't hear anybody else saying it. And I have been saying it for weeks before other people started saying it. The war in Ukraine would have been over with already months ago. It would have been over with, like I keep repeating. But we keep throwing money into it because we want it to keep going. And it's the Democrats doing it. It's all of those on the left. And which brings me to one more thing here. This is at a Nordstrom. There's this total lawlessness going on. Just total lawlessness. And the reason why I play these clips like this, to show the lawlessness going on, is because even in the Bible, during the last days, there would just be lawlessness happening. Just total lawlessness going on. There's no order. There's no authority that, that's trying to prevent, that will try to prevent this, because the Biden administration is not trying to prevent it. Y'all saw what happened on the southern border. He doesn't want to prevent that. He wants more of it. They're probably upset because they don't have more dying on the border. And you know what? Maybe because Roe versus Wade was turned over, they need their death quota. See, these are straight up demons. And demons have a death quota. And they were doing that with all these abortions with children. And now that death quota is going away. So now they're trying to figure out how to bring the quota back up, especially of the black babies. But look at this. And if I'm not mistaken, this is in Hollywood. California, Hollywood. And you can see all these, and these, look, they're black people. They're black people running out of this Nordstrom, hands full of clothes, shoes, whatever they can get their hands on, and just multiple people running out. What the? Multiple people running out. And then they run out and run down the steps. This is total lawlessness. And in California, it's like, well, you know what? They didn't steal, over $900. So you have to let them go. Can't even call the cops. This is what's happening in not just the United States of America, but it's happening. The lawlessness is happening everywhere. How despicable is this? And the mainstream media, I have yet to see the mainstream media even mention about all of this smash and grab. I've yet to see them. And, I watch them. And I think the only reason why they have one rating because I watch them to see what they're talking about. And then a lot of times I report it to you. It's crazy. Is it not? Or is it just me? Is it just me? I think it is. All right. So let me say thank you to a few people before I bounce out of here. I want to thank you so much for joining in tonight. It is Wednesday night. And it's just too much going on. It's just so much going on. It's just a lot going on. It's like really there's too much going on. And sometimes I feel like I'm just, it's just like get weighed with all this stuff. Right? Get weighed with all this stuff. This world wasn't, I had no idea when I was a kid that I would be older, when I get older, that I would be talking about this world like this. I never thought that I would be talking about, a man dressing up like a woman and they're telling us that we have to call him a woman. I didn't think about this stuff when I was younger. Because it wouldn't be thrown in our face. Now we knew some people that were mentally challenged and they had mental health issues, and they were doing that, and a grown man dressing up like that, and we said, okay, there's something's wrong with them, and that was the running thing, and there's still something wrong with them today. But today you have people that don't per se live the lifestyle, but they want to force us to go along with it, and now they all have these pronouns that they call themselves. Right? She, her, and they, them, and him and his. And then they get upset with me and everybody else because we don't want to play along. Right now, and I want to be clear, For anyone out there watching right now, if y'all want to play that game, then go ahead and play the game. That's the freedoms that you have. But another freedom that we have that I don't want you to take away is the freedom of me not playing along. I don't want to play. You're imagining a reality that doesn't exist, and I don't want to play in it. A man cannot be a woman. A man cannot get pregnant. A man cannot have an abortion. A man does not have a monthly cycle. A man does not. And I'm not going to play along and say, yes, they can. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with the reality of this world, the reality of everything, the reality that God intended it to be. That's what I'm going to stick with. And then they get upset because we don't want to. And there's another thing. There's been so many times that I've told people that they're coming after Christians. This thing what they did in the Supreme Court with Roe versus Wade and what they possibly was going to follow is that they're going to target Christians more than ever. They've already been doing it, and I've been showing it in the past. But it's going to intensify. People are going to wonder what in the world will happen. And you can have people, you have Nancy Pelosi, Nasty Pelosi, Joe Brandon, where they all say that they're Catholic, but they're going to be targeting Christians that don't comply with this world. All right, so I guess we don't have any. I want to say thank you, everybody, for being with us, and thank you so much for all the support and all the blessings. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we do. Let me say thank you to Steve. Thank you, Steve. Steven, thank you so much. And then Susan, thank you so much, Susan. And Sandra, thank you so much as well. These are Facebook stars. LS Conway, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Joy, thank you so much as well. And then John, thank you so much, John. April, thank you so much, April. Shauna, thank you so much. And Kim, thank you so much. Wow. Effie, if I'm saying it right, thank you so much. And Leanne, thank you so much. Gianna, thank you so much. And Laurel, thank you so much. And Michelle, thank you so much, Michelle. And then Paul. All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Hey, if you're watching on Rumble and Getter, please share the video over there. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Same thing on YouTube and Facebook. They're still removing people. And I've noticed they're removing people. It's weird. On YouTube, they remove people. On Twitter, of course, they remove people. And on Facebook, they remove people. Because for the most part, once I like a page, I don't remove myself from from liking it. Even when I don't send stuff, I don't go search them out just to dislike them, right? But they're constantly removing people constantly. But on Getter and Rumble, just the opposite. And even on True Social, I am on True Social. If anyone is interested, just go to uaf.media, www.uaf.media, and you can find me on Telegram, you can find me on True Social, you can find me on all of them just by going there, www.uaf.media. See you tomorrow.